A
Yeah.
very warm welcome to Dr. T.P. Sasikumar. I will be introducing Sir in a lengthy way. I have never done that for anyone I have ever interacted with. But frankly speaking, let me first give an introduction as to why are we keeping this session and what excited me so much that I could actually reach out to Sir, and very humble of Sir that he could give me this time when we could interact with each other, and then make it very meaningful for all of you, all the audience. So let me just give you a background of it. I was just discussing it with a few of my mentors, to name Mrs. Prema Muralidhar here in Dubai, and I was talking about the reforms in education. So while we were discussing this, ma'am just mentioned the name of Dr. Sir, and ma'am asked me to go through his profile once. And when I was just, I think out of everything that he has done, I would have hardly read 1% of it. And when I did that, it literally fascinated me. The kind of experience Sir has, the category of verticals he has been into, and moreover, and mostly, the passion towards education that he keeps is what excited me and is what should be exciting you in the next 40-45 minutes of time. Let me just formally introduce Sir by reading out his actual profile, because I don't want to miss out on any of it, and I am displaying it in an order. So Sir is a man on a mission to redefine the learning pattern in today's generation. During his 8th class, especially the students who have joined here, now this is for you. During his 8th class, he was put into a special school in the nearby town, but was thrown out of the school for being a bad student. Sorry for mentioning this, Sir, here, but I think we can take a lot of good inspiration from the next what I'm going to say. He started valuing education from his degree time and later had many feathers in his hat. With MSc, MPhil, PhD, LLB, MBA, and MS. Thus, he himself is an example of how an average student could transform into a knowledgeable man. Dr. TPS' philosophy in life is flow like a river and grow like a tree. According to him, every moment is an opportunity, and not missing these opportunities is what gives success, and creating a lot of such successes in life is the credit one must take into account. Dr. TPS worked as a scientist in Space Department for 2 decades, since 1989. He was director of UGC Academic Staff College at Calicut University in Kerala, and went on to serve as a deputy director at Directorate General of Security, Cabinet Secretary at New Delhi, before taking a voluntary retirement in 2009. If continued with the government, he would have reached high positions, but he opted against it as he always had an inner passion to teach and to show direction to the youth of today's generation. Dr. TPS conducts teacher training sessions as he believes that teachers are the ones who make tomorrow's citizens. He teaches them what is effective and effective teaching, educational techniques, etc. He has already reached more than 5 lakh teachers apart from 9 lakh students. This reminds me somehow of Dr. Kalam, the way he was fond of reaching out to students especially. Dr. TPS is always available for students for any kind of questions. He has over 60 blogs for the benefit of those who want to learn and acquire knowledge. His passion for life has made him to author books like Life Made Simple, Life of Love, Life to Live, Life Reflections, etc. His books are so close to heart that those who read them will find solutions for all problems. Highly motivational and grievance-reducing tips. Parents and teachers do approach Dr. TPS for their individual, family, professional, social solutions. In true sense, he is a true life coach or life mentor, as I would say. Dr. TPS also conducts live unconferencing camps at his 200-year-old home, Jnanam, if I am pronouncing it right, sir.
Yeah, Gnanam. Gnanam is knowledge.
Gnanam. Okay. Yeah, so in Kerala, and builds values among youth by leading as an example. Past 3 years, more than 20 camps were attended by around 600 youth from various parts of the world. From PG to KG, working professionals and people from all walks of life with an open mind to learn, to attend. All these camps have been very informal in setting, and the whole emphasis was put on learning and sharing. And Dr. Sir's message for today's generation is that dreams must keep on changing, as dreams are created from the knowledge that one attains and the world one is exposed to. So a very warm welcome to Sir.
Namaste.
That's
ARPIT Dugar, the interviewer, also need a great introduction. He is a man of great passion of learning and teaching. Probably when he contacted me, I asked him, what is that your interest in this? He is a man who lived in this world for 12,188 days. He authored many books. Now he lives in Dubai. My sister in Dubai, Prema Muralidhar, I just informed after confirming that you are we are meeting today as an invitation only. I told her because I didn't even check up, because I was looking at what you are doing first. This reminds me few years back when Orkut was alive. When I was with the government, somebody from Jaipur contacted me, and there was an interview conducted in a nickname called Zazo. That's part of my book in Life Made Simple. So incidentally, Arpit is also from Jaipur, and he is a passionate person who knows the business of education probably. Yeah, good. Nice to
thank you so much for that introduction.
Yeah, meeting you on this platform. Thank you, Arpit.
Thank you so much, sir. It's really an honor for me that sir has literally spent some time on my profile. Just to add on that, yes, I could connect with sir and share this frequency because of one common interest, which is the passion towards education, and how all of us as educators, as parents, as whichever walk in life we are into, how we can contribute for a better future. And all our dearest and loveliest students who have joined this session, you will be getting a lot of meaningful insights when I will be asking a few questions to sir. So do ensure you are listening to it very properly, making down your own notes, and if you want to ask something, definitely just raise a hand or type it in the chat box. Also, I would like to add here is, if in case in between we get disconnected, because I have some limitation of time here on Zoom, just connect back, because instantly we will just join back. Okay, so that should not be a hindrance in case if you get disconnected. Okay, so here we begin. I have a couple of questions to ask sir, and before that, just to highlight, sir is a former space scientist, as I mentioned in his introduction. He's an author of almost 10 books, especially on life and philosophy, and a lot of problem solving and grievance redressal tips and techniques have been given in these books. Sir is a passionate educationist, as we all know. He has taught 500,000 teachers by now, and almost 1 million students. Here goes my first question, sir. So what inspired you when you just thought that I should give up my government job and start teaching? So what was that immediate source of inspiration that you could take that decision?
Actually, it did not all on a sudden decided to quit the job and then start doing it. When my children were young, we had Saturday holidays. So I have my two sons. The elder one was in higher class, maybe 3rd or 4th grade. The younger one was in KG. That specific school has got 2 different timing. Younger children will be left by 12 o'clock and the elder one at 1:30. So I used to go on holidays. Every holiday I was in the school to pick up both of them together. So pick up the first one at 12 o'clock and then wait for the next one up to 1:30. So that 1.5 hours was going back to schools. I studied in a remote village. My cousin's son is also here, who is now the principal of a military school, who is also joined. I'm seeing him in the Zoom. We are in a small village where you can't think of any activity. But I'm sure when I went back to my kids to school, I see a lot of activities every day. And it so happened there were a lot of activities which are initiated from space department. I just started putting it into that school. So I conducted probably India's largest quiz competition called GeoMap Quiz. I am the inventor for that. So I started in that school. So that gave me a lot of opportunity to get into schools, talk to children, talk to teachers. Probably I taught more geography teachers than mathematics teachers. Though I am a mathematician, my PhD is in mathematics. So that is how it started developing while in service. Probably I ran it as a parallel program, Saturday, Sunday, many of such. Even when I was in Delhi, probably I remember 2 years of service. We have 104 Saturday, Sundays, holidays. Weekends are 52 per year, so 104 for 2 years. I traveled almost 98 times to South on demand on lectures. Then I thought it's the right time to quit. In spite of not traveling, the rest of the time I used to be in different places near to Delhi. So that happened parallelly in my service. Then
lighter note, sir, when you were in grade 8, you used to be a bad student or a tricky student, and you were not interested with studies. So how was that phase from grade 8 to your graduation, when you actually thought of about, that studies are actually going to make a difference in life?
I believe in the study of psychology, we keep saying the parents' contribution is 50% in your life. And that is biological, which you have. All the cognitive ability which you have is 50% given by your parents. Maybe 40% is given by the environment in which you are there. So for me, both from biological aspect and the environment aspect, 90% was zero from my background, because my both father and mother was not that educated. Probably father was almost illiterate. He must have learned something from here and there. He must not have never got into a school education. My mother would have dropped out from 3rd grade. The school belongs to my grandparents, because that was the village where I was. Probably few of my brothers, cousin brothers, all of them good students. But I lost my father when I was 4 years old. So my mother was not that social with the people. Many of my cousins had more openings, but that opening I didn't had, because I have not seen a temple in my life, though I am spiritually, religiously active now. One of the famous temple near to my village is Taliparamba temple, where I have seen the festival 2-3 years back, because I didn't have anybody who took me to such places. So my life was only house, probably taking care of the cattle and agriculture, climbing on trees to collect the items which are required for the cow. That was my life. So I have not seen a world other than that. And school was like a normal school, Malayalam medium, where in a village in that age, not the today's children may not understand about this. Today children by 8th
may not even be able to relate actually,
yeah,
in a situation like that as well.
Yeah, I was into drama groups, probably little bit of such activities. Maybe I learned jeep driving when I was in 7th grade. Making some little bit of pocket money which you can spend during the festival. These are all the things which you have aim in your life, nothing more than that. So I have not seen a world where electricity came when I was doing my masters. You can imagine that village situation. And during my PhD time is when telephone came to my house. So we had a small kerosene lamp. In my poetry book called The Rhythm of Life, I wrote a poetry on kerosene lamp, where your life is only learning in kerosene lamp. So mother used to tell, because kerosene was a ration. So if you study more, the ration will be over. You will not have enough kerosene. So you say put off it. So sleep early was the definition given to us in our life.
And the maximum of sunlight can be used.
Yeah, and sunlight as it comes, we have to take our buffalo to the field and such things. So nothing more. Education was just a secondary aspect.
We were talking about the way you had those difficult experiences, and the value of education was not that much during your school days. So when you actually had come to graduation, what was that driving force that led you do some 6 or 7 master degrees?
My graduation I did from a college which is little far from my place, because for those days there is no +1 +2, it's only pre-degree. So I have to stay with my eldest brother who was my guardian, because I lost my father. My brother was a professor, he is the one who took care of my education. My brother was a professor, that's where I did my +1 +2, but I couldn't get an admission for my graduation in the same college. So I had to go to some other college. So I did graduation in 3 colleges. First I joined in some college for maths and statistics double main. Most of my classmates were with the +1 +2 joined in my same college where my brother was a professor, where I did my +1 +2. That's pre-degree. So I was feeling ashamed of going to a different college where my colleagues are there, but I could not get an admission. So every day I meet them in the day, or maybe while going or coming back, or the evening. They are my friends. So I took it as a challenge getting back to the same college. So it took 1 year for to get back into. So after +1 +2 graduation first year, I managed to get admission in the college where I wanted with my effort. And principal said, I will not give you a seat, and he happens to be the head of the department of mathematics. So he had got a dual role as a head of the department and a principal. So I did all political influence. So I got into politics. I did a lot of, you say jugaad, right? So all the jugaad I did to get into that.
Okay. So somehow we have to find ways to get things going. Is the way.
So that proved, yes, in case required, I know how to run into things where I wanted to do it. So then I should not make it a bad remark. First year graduation, I failed in all exams. +1 +2 +1, that is 11th equivalent. I failed in most of the exams except Malayalam.
Dear students, from this statement of sir, you don't have to get inspired from this, but I think the outcome of this, and what after he failed, what exactly then drove him to excel in his life. Okay, yeah, sir, please.
But then graduation, I managed almost 5th rank in the university. University is a huge university. Who has got maybe half of Kerala was one university. That was Calicut University. And mathematics I got.
You're talking of which time, sir?
That was 1981 to 84. That was my graduation. I was in NSS, I was in NCC, I was in most of the activities in college, and I got a graduation nearly 89%. That time 89% was not that bad, but not very good, because my college was a beautiful college. Probably we all studied together. That is where I invented the merit of group studies. It is not that I became good student.
Two inputs from here for everyone. One is a few parents, I think, are asking me how to motivate our kids to do good things, and there are a couple of other questions coming in. Do good things to own first, and then saying does not work. One needs to inspire by others' actions. Yeah. So what we can take from sir's experience is that definitely, along with studies, we have to get involved across all the dimensions of life, all the spheres of life, so that it's not just the academics, but we grow overall. There is a holistic development, and very aptly said by sir that all these collaboration tools or techniques which sir could learn from his experience is something that we should learn now. So sir, I believe that the way technology is moving forward, there is a lot of gap in terms of social interaction amongst this generation, the alpha generation, which we say. So during your transition phase, sir, when you have been dealing with teachers and students from then to now, what kind of transformation, good transformation that you see, and what are the things that you see as a challenge that needs to be worked upon?
Actually, if you are talented, you have that ability to be creative, the tools and situations doesn't stop you. See, if you are creative in cooking, you are also creative in drama. I've got one of my student, Rida, is also, I'm seeing her face. there are just the other day, 15th August, we finished a drama involving most of the Gulf country. We had students from Kuwait, Abu Dhabi, Dubai. I was just throwing some ideas. The ideas were made into some small part by part. But then connecting the part was only a little creative thing which I used. But the rest of the things were all done by my children. And it came out a beautiful drama. Today also, one of my colleague or maybe a close friend of mine who is into art, drama, festival, music, who was my kids teacher, she telephoned and spoke about the drama almost an hour. So I'm saying, I played with a lot of drama, and I'm seeing the face of Krishna Kumar from Mala, who is a English teacher who I had interaction in the early 20 years back. He was just completing his graduation. He wanted to become a teacher. That is the time when I was running my icon program for the remote village students. A review of that I posted yesterday, and I was looking at how Krishna Kumar was acting in the class. So if you are a teacher, I'm sure you are acting in the class. You can do the same acting and teaching drama in a digital media. It doesn't make a difference. Krishna Kumar came and attended many of my camps in Knanam. He knows Naduvil probably as he knows his hometown or maybe some other city. Not only he came as a teacher, he brought his children. And I know his children now today, some of them are in different states, in different parts of the country. They keep in contact with me saying, sir, I attended, I stayed with you. See, staying with you for 10 days makes a lot of difference. You know the life, right?
Right.
I remember we keep giving excuses for not doing things. That's the biggest problem. I remember one of the manager who was one of my best student, Anusha, who's manager in Infosys. He came, he just wanted to see the facility for a day. And then he was there on Saturday. He wanted to go back and join office on Monday. But he stayed 10 days with me, extending all his official jobs he postponed. So if you are committed, I'm sure. We have from Dubai, that time Asianet Radio, the chief, who was a friend of mine, who came just for a few half day he wanted to spend with me, but he stayed. He was not even prepared with his dress for 2 days, but he stayed with me 2 days. See, if you have that inclination, I'm sure either digital or non-digital. Now, digital makes you more freedom.
That's a very important point to be taken from here, because currently, as a part of education business also, we are also focusing on training the teachers, equipping the teachers in terms of using the best tools, techniques, the strategies, so that they can use the maximum of digital media. But hardcore, what I feel from your inputs is that if a teacher has that passion within herself or himself, then tools and techniques, they become, they are by parts to be used to deliver it properly. So we have a couple of teachers who have joined here. I would like them to also, post in some questions here. I'll read them and I'll take them in between. We'll take inputs from sir on this. So my next question to you, sir. What is Nanam to you? I mean, you are running this as a mission since long. What does it actually mean to you, and what do we actually aim at?
See, actually, I'm a person, as I wrote in my book on the back cover page, saying flow like a river, grow like a tree. I started my teaching activity but without a name. But it was my students who wanted to give a name, so I gave that name. They asked me, what do you give? So it just came out saying that Shiksha. So Shiksha is my trust. Shiksha is not in my mother tongue. Shiksha is punishment. But in Hindi it is learning and teaching. So that's why I gave it, because I stayed outside Kerala. I'm in Hyderabad. So that's the time when I named it. But then we wanted to do some activity in my hometown. I thought I have to give and relate that to my parents, or dedicate it to my parents. My father is Narayan, mother is Janaki, and therefore I connected together Janaki, Narayan, mentoring. That is Nana. So it's not me. It's the house belongs to my parents, which now belongs to my siblings. I have only a portion of that with me. And that's only property which I have in my life today. Nothing else. I did not earn anything more. So I thought that dedication to my parents will be the best thing which I can give, because the village knows my parents and the parents knows my village. To go back to my village, that is why I started that program, because I was running a similar program in Hyderabad called the Shiksha Holiday Program, which was attended by many engineers, doctors, professionals like MBA who are working in different companies here. I remember the HR head of Infosys was my student in my house. So we used to have fun, like traveling in train and taking classes, going to fort and learning history, going to science museum learning science. And you go to a Gurudwar to learn about that religion. You go to different places and learn about it, not blah blah blah, be practical. That is what I did. So then I want to go back to my hometown, because the Hyderabad people wanted to live in a village. That's why I opened up the program in that village. It happened from 2013 to 18, almost 5 years, maybe 600 students, and it has got a huge ecotourism center. So we used to go trekking, and then all that what you can do in a village, planting trees or maybe cultivating, socializing in the society. There are a lot of children who come back to me after coming and staying there for 10 days. No, that's a real good bondage. So it connected me to more than 26 countries, including Europe, America. Students came and stayed with me.
Absolutely, because sir, I think that is where when we connect to basics. So a lot of you are asking me some questions here in the chat box, which talks about how we should be motivating our students, what actually we should do to inspire them, how we should push them for their career. And then we have some questions like as parents, how should we motivate our kids to focus on the studies at home? So one point that I can take from sir's input is what we are trying to talk about the whole education system is that we need to be very much rooted and have live experiences. The more live experiences, the more of experiential learning that happens. Not just empowers us with these subjects, but yes, otherwise also. And I think going forward, especially this pandemic time, sir, it has actually taught all of us that more than anything else, we need some basic life skills to survive, to sustain, to be with each other, and to continuously progress in life. So, moving forward, sir, I have another important thing to be asked here, which is like personally I wanted to know from you is your stint of working with space department and then working in the cabinet secretariat in the Department of Security. So people, they do across the country, people do urge for, they seek for, and they prepare for immense of months and years to get government jobs. And during that time, how much did that job excite you? What exactly things you were accomplishing there? And so I would just like you to give us some highlights about that when you were working with the government.
I was very lucky probably because I got a job in government, and more lucky because I was part of Department of Space. Probably I believe Department of Space is one which gives you a lot of freedom. Many people don't know Department of Space until now has got a different rule than what other governments have, though it isn't part of Department of Space, because Department of Space secretary is not a IAS person. Generally secretaries are IAS, but Department of Space secretary is chairman ISRO, who is a scientist. And we had a scientific administrative chief in ISRO like Sheshan, TN Sheshan, who was one of the greatest civil servicemen. And during Indira Gandhi's time, he rewrote the Department of Space rule. And he wrote everything can be decentralized. That means chairman has a lot of money, he can distribute it into different units. And the same different units can redistribute into different small people. So I was handling large chunk of money, lavish money, soon after joining a department. So you can imagine, I can buy whatever I want. I can do experiments on whatever I want. Probably that has given a lot of success to ISRO. And we work in project mode. I don't have to, though we work very fast, we get promotions very fast. and it's a different system, and we could jump into something, give a new project and then push it, and it works, it is good. If it doesn't work, we get experience anyway doing something. So one of the best project probably I was partly involved because my job was image processing. Image processing is full of mathematics, and I was part of looking at images of I keep saying, when I joined for MSc, Indira Gandhi died. When I got a job, that is the time when Rajiv Gandhi died. I took birth, that is the time when Nehru died. That's how I remember years.
So, like Prime Ministers are associated with your profession. Right?
But then, when I joined Department of Space, immediately I got images of Rajiv Gandhi assassination. And retrieving back the image to find out the culprit was one project in my office. So I was part of that. End of my career, I was with the Kargil War. So that's the time when I involved with the Space Department. So I have thrilling experiences, looking at things, moving into people, hearing different people, seeing them straight away. When I was there, URO was chairman, then Kasturi Rangan was chairman. They're all famous in different field, right? And I worked in Bangalore, I worked in Ahmedabad, I worked in Hyderabad. I was program planning and project management directorate. I was as almost like a deputy. That's a great understanding of what happens in ISRO, which not many ISRO scientists will get.
So here also, sir, I will just give, because I'm again getting a few message requests here.
Yeah.
So this is for all the parents, all the students specifically. Subjects like mathematics, especially mathematics, we are very much fearful of. And why we are fearful of is because we do not know where exactly we are going to end up to by studying this. It seems abstract in nature. But so the thing to be looked upon is that every subject has got a wide spectrum. It has got a wide scope. Like for example, sir has just mentioned about image processing. In school days, we never get to know that mathematics will be used for image processing, or mathematics will be used to create some algorithms for a computer software program. So as educators, as parents, we need to make our students aware of all the scope and arena that we have for each and every subject. I think that's one learning which we should take from sir's point here. Also, to talk specifically about some subject and the career choices related to it, I'm sure sir has a lot of inputs there, but I will not directly cover them here in the session today. You can join sir's Facebook page. Sir is also available on LinkedIn. He has got a YouTube channel.
My telephone number is there. Anybody could WhatsApp me and then learn the links where I'm available, what I'm doing. Yeah.
So humble of you, sir. But I would not, recommend everyone to keep disturbing sir with WhatsApp messages. But yes, so thank you so much, sir, for this. Definitely. So all these channels, he is very much open, very much available to all of us. Any kind of doubts that we have, because what I feel is that why I intended to do this session is as educators. If with this session, if we are able to change even 1 or 2 lives, you get inspired and you do something out of the box, I think that suffices the purpose of this session. So with this, I would like to talk about the horizontal and vertical growths, which you mentioned in your philosophy of life, that flow like a river and grow like a tree. As students, what exactly we should learn from this? As parents, what should we precisely learn from this, and then impart in our own lives? Some highlights on that as well.
Actually, a river doesn't know where it flows, so it flows according to the gravity. Like I never knew that I'm going to do a PhD in fluid mechanics, which is very close to physics. My passion is more into physics than probably in mathematics and after my post-graduation. When you get an opportunity, jump into that. That is what a river does. If a river is stopped by a big log, the river tries to flow below that, above that, sidewise. And if the log can be driven by the river, the log itself is driven by the river. So like in your life, if there are problems, don't get stuck. Drive it along with you. And assume it gets stuck. You should have sufficient patience to fill it so that you can overflow. So that's what I believe. That's my philosophy of life. Keep flowing. I'm sure keep studying, somewhere it will give you a benefit. My love of physics, probably from the book For the Love of Physics. If you have not seen Walter Levin's book, just type in Walter Levin, Walterlewin, Levin, and look at YouTube presentations by that professor who teaches in MIT. The same simple pendulum what we teach in our classroom, he teaches in an entirely different style. I think whoever is seeing that, if your passion is not physics, you will love into physics.
The video that you are referring to, I have seen that, because he takes a ball and he just stands for it.
Yeah, that's one. You cannot forget a teacher. See, that is what happens. I keep saying, probably you will see only very few minutes, only a spark of some time. That's good enough. If you are into that, you will never forget. I'm sure my children who associate with me, probably that point of time they may not like my way I deal with them, but throughout their life, whom I taught probably in 2010, they are still in contact with me just because I made a difference in their life. And I'm sure that happens. Probably in that age, at that point of time, they may not understand what is that we are doing, because the Kabir says, no, you have to make a pot out of a mud. You will have to beat it many times, condition it many times, put your hand inside and outside, then rotate it many times.
Yes, a very, very, very important virtue is to inculcate patience. I mean, as parents also, we should be imparting this, that how much patience is important for us to grow in our lives, because without that, I think all of this becomes meaningless. As you said, that as we have to flow like a river, and even if there are certain logs in between, we do not have to stop flowing. So there are some very lovely faces here of students. I would like to give this as a word of wisdom to you, that whatever comes way, you just keep doing things, be consistent. There will be ups and downs, definitely, but yeah, as sir said, and very well, I think the one thing that I really liked about sir's experience was, and the way he is utter. He's an utter honest figure, I would say, who has not hidden anything right from his school days. And he actually did not like studies. He was not motivated to do that. But then how it got transformed when he was into graduation, and post that, one after the other, how things came. And he just grabbed on each and every opportunity that kept coming way. So,
and I keep saying, there is one tendency in most of us, either teachers or students or parents. We keep finding fault with the system. I am sure I am not one who can change the system. So what I can do is change myself to adjust with the system. That's it. Because there is no point in wasting our time unnecessarily. We don't, our focus should not be on blaming, finding fault, by which we are actually disturbing ourselves, and then the mood is lost. Unless we have a faith in the system. That's why I keep saying government is very good, education system is very good. I keep finding fault on anything what is happening around. Let me adjust and do what best I can.
Sorry sir,
yeah. There is no point in criticizing unless I have a role in doing it.
Absolutely.
You understood? See, probably we should have our views on different things, but yeah, that views are expressed, that's good enough. So you cannot see on any of my social media where I am finding fault with any of these things, because I have got sufficient time to do many things in my life which are positive, which can be done, than doing something. Those probably who are interacting with me get my scolding sometime. That's good enough, but not a system and society. I cannot change system and society. I can change people. That's only what I'm trying to figure.
So this is again one very important learning for all of us who are present here in this session. That, and especially I was also going through a research study on the time that we spend on social media on futile discussions, which nowhere relates to us, but then just to show our presence, we try to become an active participant there. We try to forward some messages. We would add something to it, and we do a lot of participation, which is entirely useless in terms of our professional or personal growth. So as rightly mentioned by sir, as students, as parents, as educators, we should not have time to waste in such activities. We have a lot of things to learn. There is so much to explore. And the day you start realizing that you have explored more, just move out 10 kilometers in any direction. And I think the whole philosophy and perception of the life changes. And then you will again start feeling that there is a lot to learn more. There is a lot to be done.
Arpit is also mathematics student?
Yes, sir. Yes.
I remember I just kept some small thing for you. This is a 1 feet scale, which don't buy Indian scale, buy Chinese scale. Because it becomes flexible now. The Indian scale is more rigid. See, 4 scales added together with a small nut and bolt. So it gets into a square shape, right?
Absolutely.
You know the circumference of this scale? 4 feet. Because for each is 1 feet, 1 feet, 1 feet. I don't know how many teachers will teach like this. It's very simple to teach circumference like this, right? Which I had good science teachers. Like I had a teacher called Anandan Master who taught me like this. And then now the circumference can just change. The shape can just change with the same scale. You know the area of the scale is a square. If this is a, this is a square, right? Correct? Now what I am doing is I am just tilting it, so it becomes a circle. But the circumference is not, the periphery is not for A. It is 2 pi r. 2 pi r.
And the area also changes in between.
The area becomes pi r squared, right? So if you can, I'm saying it's very simple to understand mathematics. Physically you can look at it. And now the question should come, why the area is different, though circumstances, the circumference is different, though physically it looks almost the same, right? If you understand this, you understood a little bit of mathematics. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So this is what is visualizing. Yeah, what happens is people don't visualize.
Right.
If you can visualize, I think academics has huge potential.
Absolutely.
You can dream, and that dream is what people require. And people should have questions. See, everybody studies Pythagoras theorem, but Pythagoras theorem is not just a 2-dimensional. You can apply Pythagoras theorem in 3-dimensional also. But I don't think anybody asked this question, how Pythagoras theorem in 3-dimension. Rarely you see somebody is asking. Even this experiment which I have shown in some teachers' workshops, I have not seen a teacher asking a question whether the circle has got more area or square has got more area. See, that thinking is not there.
Small story, which I heard some time back, which was like a king gives a rope to somebody and asks him that you just encircle or just
rotate
any
it.
kind of boundary, maximum boundary that you can make will be allocated to you as an area. So this person makes a square, thinking that okay, wow, I have got a square piece of land, and that's the maximum area that I have. However, at the same time, the other person draws a circle because he knows that the area of circle will be more using the same circumference.
Yeah.
Or the same length of the rope.
Yeah.
So, I can now straight away relate that to the example that you have shown here.
Yeah.
So this, again, this is such a nice insight with such a small example. All the parents and educators who are here in the session, this is the way we have to demonstrate. Things have to come out from the books. We have to see them live around us. And once we start doing it, and I can now straight away relate it with sir's experiences when he used to teach in that village environment, growing trees and living that life there. Because then we are actually able to see things around and able to relate our knowledge directly with whatever is around. So that's a fantastic approach to learn and to teach both.
And I have one of my volunteer Arthi here, who was my volunteer in America when I was doing a camp last year. I had a camp for nearly 120 children, and she was one of my volunteer with 2 of her kids attending my camp.
Okay, wow.
So either it is in a village or in a city in America, it makes no difference. Probably we all have to learn. That's it, as simple as that. I remember one of the paper fellow came to cover my program. It was for somebody else, but ultimately the coverage came to my program. That day I was teaching, we had children from different part of India. All of them don't know their mother tongue. So I told only half day it requires to learn your mother tongue, at least to read and write. And it was demonstrated there, and people learned how to write their names, their parents' names. You don't have to go systematically. People start spending a lot of time in learning kaka, kaka, a, e, a, b, c, d and all that. Not required. We don't take bath systematically. We just pour water and then the whole body is drenched. Similarly, I think you should jump into. I remember when I came to Delhi, I asked somebody, how do I make my Hindi fluent? He said, go and talk to the auto rickshaw drivers and rickshaw drivers, they will teach you good Hindi. So practically jumping into the system is what is required. So what I did was, I asked my children to write their parents' name, their name, village name, place names and all that in their mother tongue. All of them became good in their language. I think that is the way to learn. Today, if you think you want to learn, you have a lot of options. The world is full of opportunities. Get into learning, that's it. So similarly, get into YouTube, get into teachers, talk to them. Don't hesitate. My number is there, don't hesitate. Just must be able to communicate, start jumping into activities.
Is displayed here, and whosoever is attending the session, I'll also put this in the chat box. You can anytime reach him on WhatsApp. As well as I would request you to subscribe to his channels as well as the social media handles, so that you can keep on getting the live updates. I got a chance in last 2 days to watch a couple of videos which sir has made on career counseling, so a lot of questions are there on guidance as to what options to be chosen. So there are immense and especially his blogs. So there is immense of knowledge that he has already delivered and made it available to everyone. And also whatever on personal basis you would want to ask, he's always available.
I think same day, 23rd August 2017 or 18, I was in Abu Dhabi with Abu Dhabi Social Club. I was conducting a camp for 1 month. And this is the day when I came on to Pravasi Bharati for a radio talk. And maybe after a radio talk, you get 1,000 WhatsApp messages to answer. One of the question which was asked, and most of the messages which come from Gulf, how do I make my English fluent? So I keep saying, listen to my English and then start mimicking myself, know how I speak, which I did for mimicking many of the great speakers. That's what I did. So one of the best method is to listen to radio, listen to talk, and do the same style of talking. You start mimicking.
I had a very weird way of getting my hand on English.
Yeah.
So I was also not very fluent in English, and during my school days, my principal was always after my life that you have to improve your vocation on English. You do well in every other thing, but it's just that you are not vocal enough, and you don't take all those opportunities wherein you have to communicate in English. So why don't you work on that? And during that time, all my friend circle, and I think a lot of us will be facing it during this time as well, that whenever you try to speak other than your mother tongue, and if everyone is speaking in the mother tongue around, they make fun of you. So you don't get plenty of opportunities to explore. So I started calling these call centers. So Reliance was launched during those days, and I used to call on the call center and used to select the language as English, and then I used to stock all everything that I wanted to, and so it was kind of a free trading session for me. So I used it that way. So as you said, I can relate to few of those instances wherein nothing should stop you. If you have got some hurdles, if you have got if you do not have that environment around you, rather than blaming around it and then cribbing about it every time, it's always better to find some way to pass through it. So that's something very much learned from here. Moving towards my last question to sir. So in terms of spiritual practices, because by far the way I have analyzed your profile, along with the professional work that we are executing, you are very much spiritual also. You very much you are already contributing it back to the community, back to the society, as well as the kind of mission that you keep somehow gives me a feeling that this is absolute spiritualism to be practiced in reality. What's your take on that? That how much spiritual should we be when we are executing the tasks? And as students, how does spiritualism help?
Actually, by birth, all of us are spiritual. There is nothing we have to wedded to spirituality. We must get into spirituality and all is not there. Actually, by mistake, many of us believe that religion is spirituality. I am deadly against the stupid rituals which are waste of time. Even closing your eyes and meditating is not what my guru taught me. It's open your eyes and get into action. Right? That is more important than closing your eyes and not seeing. Both my meditation master from Himalayas or maybe Yeti, who used to tell the disciples to look at the grass and then see, are you seeing the flower? Then he says, no. Every guru used to ask close the eyes. He says, look inside, there is a small flower inside in between the grass. See, that is the eye which you should activate, not closing your eyes. Correct? That is more important. So, if you have that eye to see things around, that is spirituality. You are a person who has a philosophical view around everything you have. It is not English grammar or language grammar which you learn either your mother tongue or other tongue. It's the grammar of the life. What you are putting into spirituality to project for others. And a good writer is a good scientist. A good scientist is a good writer because he sees what is for tomorrow. Correct. There is a great saying that yesterday's magician is today's scientist and today's scientist is tomorrow's poet. So if you can club all this together, that becomes a unification of everything around you. We are into fivefold life. One is physical, emotional, intellectual, social. We find lacuna in all of them. But then I'm sure you are spiritually a little higher, all these lacunas will get patched up. Maybe physically I have got a small video which talks about illness and disease. That was the theme of the drama which these people took up. Actually, disease is only a physical phenomena, but if you spiritually become active, you can never become diseased in your life. We mistake disease as illness. Illness is only for body. So you don't have to be. There are many things around us which makes us sick. But unless we take inside us, we will not become sick. Maybe sound can come up to my ear, but why should I take into my manas? That software need to be uploaded inside you. That is what is spirituality. That's what I believe. So I was blessed to have probably one of the greatest gurus who can ever have during this time of life. My Himalayan meditation master. That's why when somebody sent me some tips and messages and talks from some stupid XYZ who are in the market, who are so-called famous, I only can laugh at them because I have dipped myself into the best gurus in the world. I am a disciple of Swami Rama's disciple Swami Vedabharati. And I had my basic Vedic knowledge from a great Pandit from Kerala. So I was blessed to have that. That was deep rooted into spirituality, but not any religious. Religious practices are must. That is like an LKG, UKG alphabet which you learn. But if I can write poetry, why should I practice my ABCD?
Exactly.
So,
very well said.
Yeah, you should start with ABCD, but then get rid of that. Most of the people who have faith in gods, they are all LKG bhaktas. They never get into PG. That is what the problem is. Throughout life, they chant the same thing without understanding the meaning, without understanding the philosophy behind it.
And then they start practicing it,
Yeah.
right? I can actually get recall of 2-3 incidents, sir. If you allow me, I'll just share them here. So one of them was like there is a small child studying in US, And his father is a politician in the central government in India. This is way back in 2000s, early 2000s. And this child comes back and he sees a lot of non-planned activities going on. And he is a small child, around 7 or 8 years of age. So when he walks around the city, he sees that people are not throwing the garbage at proper places. There is a traffic congestion. There is a water logging. A lot of problems are there. And his father is somehow in the Ministry of Planning and Development. So he asks his his grandfather. So he asks his grandfather that why don't you are in the ministry, you are in the power, why don't you do something? So this person takes him to his library and shows him that you see this document. This is what we do, which is like the complete layout of a 5-year plan. So this is what we do. And this small boy, he replies back that stop writing, start doing. Which means, as what sir said, that come to action. Spiritualism is very well defined by sir, and Dr. Jayanti Sahu has very well appreciated it, that religion and spiritualism should not be confused. Religion is something very personal and at very niche stage, as sir mentioned. It's a UKG and LKG level of knowing ourselves and getting to spiritually connected.
Dr. Jayanti Sahu and I am associated because we have a small satsang called Maya Satsang. Maya is virtual satsang, in which we are discussing many of these topics. And she is a philosophy professor in one of the colleges. Very recently we got connected, and then we have very few contributions and discussions on this.
So this is very important for all of us who are there in this session, all the educators, parents especially, to teach our younger generation, to teach our students the differences between religion and spiritualism. So by far, as sir also mentioned, I think all of us should be very much spiritually active, because once we are inactive spiritually, I think our fall down begins. So rightly said by sir. Okay, so I can see a few questions here. Let me just read out them. Okay, people are actually just posting some messages on Facebook as well as here in terms of their feedback and responses. I'll read the feedbacks and responses later on. But I'm so happy that all of you are actually getting good insights from here, which I was sure of while discussing it with sir. So now, going towards the end of the session, two things I would mention here before we take up your questions. One is these kind of sessions and discussions we will keep on doing. And as sir has already mentioned, his phone number is available on WhatsApp as well. Anytime you need to connect, you feel that you should be connected to him. And for anything, it's not just your career choices or any kind of personal problems, any kind of social hiccups you are trying to figure out the ways. I think he will be the right person and such a guidance available at 20, all the time. So would really appreciate that from sir's time. Also, before I end the session, I would like to thank Dr. TP Sasikumar once again for so many of the things that he has told in today's session, as well as on a very quick, short notice, the way we could connect and then come to this session, which we arranged for everyone. It was just a small call by Mrs. Prema Muralidhar, who is my mentor as well. And then I just connected with sir and just asked him, sir, can we just do a small session so that when we interact, let everyone take some meaning out of it. And I think without even taking much time, he immediately agreed to it. And I was like, I was nervous all these 3-4 days, sir. Let me be very honest. So I have done some hundreds of workshops and seminars and teacher orientations and talking to parents counselings, talking to students. But when I was actually going through your profile, I was like, Arpit, are you serious? You are going to talk to him directly, or you should just write questions to him and take the responses. But then somehow, when sir replied back with such such humility and so much of passion in terms of getting this executed, it literally gave me that drive to come to this. and then just make some good sense of this session. So
Arpit, it is easy to give lectures, but no, it's always nice to have somebody who will ask you questions. The most thing what I generally love is questions, because if there are good questions, probably you will start thinking, no?
Absolutely. And in fact, a lot of questions which I was asking you, in fact, I got some inputs from various people in my connections also that, we would like to have answers on this angle, we would like to know about this. So I was pretty excited to explore those areas with you so that everyone can get something out of it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people would now want to connect more and then, have a personalized based, your guidance and counseling on it. In fact, few responses are coming here. And okay, so how do we diagnose? Sir, one more question I'll take here, which is from Mrs. Rida Thaju. How do we diagnose our passion or talent and get a direction to improve? Is what she wants to ask you.
In a buffet, how do we select what we want to eat? We have to go and taste, that's it. See, assume you cannot taste, what do you do? You ask somebody else, how is it tasting, no? So, you should talk to people. You should talk to people. I had a bad experience and good experience of traveling. I don't call it as traveling. Travel is only a physical shift. I used to have a good journey everywhere where I go, because experience is added to my travel. When experience is added, it becomes journey. So all my travels are journeys, because I keep talking to somebody who is neighbor, sitting with me. So I remember traveling I stay in Hyderabad, from Hyderabad to Dammam for a workshop. And the person who was sitting beside me was a 9th grade boy. I started asking him a lot of questions because that was my first experience going to Saudi Arabia to have a workshop. So I wanted to learn the education, how students look at, do they go for tuitions, what does the teacher do extra, how do you do, and all such questions I asked. Almost 3 hours I had a lot of questions to him, but he never had a single question back to me. He never wanted to know who is this buffalo asking this question to me like this. No, neither the name nor, actually people miss a lot of things. But I remember when I was traveling to Wayanad, that's one of the districts, remote districts in Kerala from Thrissur. I had somebody who was standing beside me, he had a big bag. I was director, though I had a official vehicle by the university, I preferred to travel by bus because that's a place where I can talk to people. Interact with someone. So I was asking that boy who was standing there to give his bag so that I can keep it with me, because he was struggling it hanging on his shoulder. Later, when somebody else vacated the seat, he sat with me. It happened in 2005. In 2020, 15 years after that, Shai is still my good friend.
Wow.
So that interaction was 10 minutes of sitting together in a bus. So I'm sure every one of us have got a role to play in interacting with the people. If you do that, you are enjoying. If you are not doing, actually you are fooling yourself.
Right. So in terms of, as Sir said, I'll just extend with one another insight into it. That, especially when we are talking about how do we diagnose our passion, unless, as Sir said, unless and until we keep interacting with a lot of people.
Talk to people, so that's what I'm saying.
We get those insights that, this might interest me, this may not interest me. 1. 2, the important thing that I look from my angle is that every month or every quarter now in this world, things are changing dynamically. So your knowledge cannot be stagnant, right, sir? Continuously it has to evolve, and it can only evolve either with experiences, and those experiences will come eventually by getting, in touch with some people. So like 3 months back, whatever jobs we had, half of those jobs are not even existing right now. Dynamics have changed. Now, as students or as educators, as parents, how do we get to know what exactly is going on around in the world? We need to connect.
See, some people have a lot of misunderstanding also. Somebody comes and tells me, sir, I like space, I want to be a space scientist. I said, space department doesn't do anything with the space. We only stand on the in the space and look to the ground. So space department people only know how to put a satellite there. The rest of the things are on the ground. But it is astronomy department. It's like you are going to a non-vegetarian shop and asking for something else, a vegetarian cake. Or maybe going to a vegetarian hotel and asking for chicken biryani. So you should know what is that you are doing. That will happen only when you interact with the people and learn. And today, digital world, there are plenty of opportunities. You can connect to anyone in this world. You imagine a place where you cannot even have a telephone, you cannot contact with the people. Today, if you have interest, you can jump into that. I remember the digital camp which we have done. I put a post saying that grade 8th and above. Immediately, one student, Rishika, from Abu Dhabi. She is only 7th grade. She had sent me a message saying that I am trying to take a shot, seeing that whether I will be eligible or not. I don't care, I am sending this video to join for your workshop. And she was one of the best performer. So you should have that courage. Why do you worry? I remember when I meet somebody like maybe a film personality, S. Janaki, M.G. Sri Kumar, Mohanlal, Tilak, and most of the Amitabh Bachchan, Sanjay Dutt, all these people I spoke to them because I don't miss an opportunity talking to them when if you meet them. But you should know what to ask. Meeting Prime Minister, you cannot ask him, sir, what is your name? So you should know something which is higher to talk to him. So how do you know what to ask somebody? Only when you get educated yourself. Some people stupid questions they ask because they don't know the status in which they wanted to deal with the people. So therefore what will happen? Most of the questions you don't get answer, you don't care them. So you should get it to a standard. How do you get that? Keep interacting with everybody. So you yourself will get into that maturity.
So, sir, Dr. Bhavani Saharia has requested me to respond to Bhooyaasee's query, which I think is answered by sir now. Sir, I'll just read the question for you. I am a student of class 12, science. So as a student, sometimes I used to face a lot of problems to get frank with the teacher, and I am scared of asking questions. How to deal with such consequences? So, Bhooyaasee, before sir answers this, I would just want to add a few points here. One is definitely you should know what is the context of you asking the questions. One. Two. Second, you should never be afraid of asking questions if they are somehow relevant to the topic being discussed. And third is, if you are not getting answers from the person you have asked the question, the world doesn't end there. There are people out. There is, and especially now with this digital media available every time, you have plenty of resources to ponder upon the quests that we have. So, but the most important thing is whenever we are asking, as sir said that, to a prime minister when I, happen to meet, I may not be asking some questions which are, out of the league or maybe something which is very silly. So in case if you think that you are not too frank with your teacher, off the class, go and interact with the teacher. That would be my personal suggestion to this.
I think when you go for even a normal lecture, we meet 400 people. We don't remember all the 400. We only remember who asked questions.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Right.
And so, the days have gone when you have to get worried about, there were very tough teachers. But I'm sure the toughest teacher is the worst teacher in the world. They are tough because they don't want interactions. Maybe somebody asks a question, you will tell, you come to my staff room, I will give you the answer. That shows the teachers are not good enough. Right? So there may be, they are not teachers, they are actually cheaters in the post of teachers. So let them be there. But I'm sure the world is so vast, as you said. You can always find answers for your questions. What is lacking is good questions. Probably from childhood we had the quest for knowledge. We start asking what is this, what is that, what is this, what is that. After some time it's our parents who taught us don't ask questions. Probably teachers must have taught us not to ask questions. Right? If you keep that quest, you are the best.
Absolutely.
But you should know, you should always know what to ask, whom to ask, in what context to ask, and how to ask. Some people ask, there is a lot of difference between asking questions and questioning. So many people
Absolutely.
will start questioning instead of asking questions. And some people, now when you send this Zoom meet, I have sent a message. So immediately somebody asked, my daughter wanted to do PhD in Gulf abroad, which country is best? See, what message you have sent, they ignore. Your problem is what you are posing. You understood?
Right.
Because they are ignorant. There are some people who are totally ignorant. They don't read. See, after your message came and I sent, immediately somebody said the date is not given. I said, read the message first. See, we are in a world of transferring problems. It's like a football court. No? You keep throwing it to somebody else without even reading. I don't allow anybody. I don't send any forwarded message unless I add values to that. I may take somebody's message, reframe it myself and then put it. That's my ability. Right? But I don't forward anything. Unless it is related to what I am doing. Unless it is related to what somebody else is doing to whom I am sending.
And unless it is catering some meaning.
That's it.
Otherwise.
That's it.
So Bhooyaosee, I believe your question is answered here now. Try to inculcate these habits, these strategies of asking questions and asking them in the right manner is what you should look up to. Prema ma'am says a big salute to you, sir. Your experience was, is, and will always be the success mantra.
We are here because of Prema, so I should say namaskaram and thank you to Prema.
Right, sir. Ma'am, if you are available, we can take a word from you as well here. And I have one more question here.
I think Prema should come on.
Yes, I'm available.
Yeah, come on, Prema.
I'm available, Arpit. I'm available, except that not in a position to switch on my video because of my grandson's entry into home. Anyway, I must admit that I think I myself have been enlightened in the last few weeks that we have started to get to know each other. And as he rightly said, people always look up to someone to support them to get the answers. And that's what I'm doing now. Whether it's a child asking me what career should I choose, whether it's a friend saying, I don't know what it is happening, what is my life, or for my own self, when I need to see light, I think DrTPS is the right person. Because one thing about him is he doesn't put anything for you to take it easily. He only throws in those, those small little pellets like thing, and then, yes, you need to unearth them and get the best out of it. So I think with DrTPS, you must understand that you set the arena for him. He is not going to give you the answers, but he'll show you the direction, and that's what we lack. We don't have enough people who can do this for us, and I think salute not only from here, but on an entire Woodlam family, Woodlam group of schools. We are so delighted, and surely we will have more sessions with him for our teachers and for the community, including students, of course. Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you so much.
Love you.
Thank you so much for your words, and I'm pretty sure everyone agrees to that. The kind of messages that I am receiving now is overwhelming, sir. I will definitely be sharing a complete snapshot of all these messages with you as well. Because,
I have people from the college where I worked as an executive director, and the management committee members are also here. It's a huge spectrum of people, you can imagine. He is from my native district. Jyoti Prakash, namaskaram. One of the person who supported me a lot.
I just leave the floor open for everyone to ask if any kind of questions you have. So now, especially, I would request Bhooyaosee, if you can put up some question here. We are giving you an opportunity to ask here. We are not those strict teachers of the school. Yeah, you can just unmute yourself. I have given those access rights wherein you can unmute yourself and you can ask.
Hello, sir. Sir.
Yes, Arunima.
Sir, I'm Arunima.
Yeah, tell me.
Good afternoon, sir.
Namaskaram, namaskaram.
Sir, you were talking of not changing the system, but changing yourself.
Yeah.
That is actually the mantra to move forward and move successfully. I agree with you absolutely.
Good.
But I was thinking that if this is actually the weapon to success, that we need to always internalize the codes of the society and to move accordingly, not question them, not challenge them, just conforming to those. Okay, we give effort to just conform to the social codes and not just think about it or judge it or challenge it anyway. We can't at all make any judgment regarding that, but just concentrate on ourselves to how or to what extent we can achieve those or we can reach those. So how far is this absolutely, justified according to you, sir?
See, I don't know whether you have seen the opposition leader and the ruling chief minister. They oppose on issues, but they are good friends even after that. They may travel in same car, they may talk to each other, they may attend same wedding, they may have party together, because they are into politics. They know how issues have to be separated from personal issues. What happens to the normal people like us, when we have an issue on a very specific thing, we take it too personal. Assume I don't like something what my student does. I may scold. It doesn't mean I don't like that student. I don't like what the student did on that point of time, on that activity. That's it. That people don't understand. If they don't understand that, that is where the issues in house, issues in society, which are all creating problems. I may tell somebody who is my servant, the way they are not cleaned is not very good. But what happens to that level, that servant is not able to understand that. They take it personal. They say that this man scolded me. That's it. For what purpose, they don't understand. So politicians are equipped for understanding the issue for which they are fighting. If you can do that, you can do that, criticize anything around, but don't put your heart closed, not accepting things around.
So Arunima, I would also want to add with this is that by not exactly getting inside and judging each and every point, sir meant that we do not have to stop. It's like what the philosophy of life he mentioned was to flow like a river. That something should not be so strong that stops us from doing the right. It's not about questioning the system. It's not about judging somebody. We should definitely be doing that. We should be, because unless and until we question, we cannot improve.
We have to push, but push at the door to open the opening for you. Don't push on the wall to open it. Because pushing on the wall is wasting your time. Pushing on the door, you can open it. At least knock at the door, but not on the wall. You know it is closed. Why do you want to change? See, that is what is to be done. There are a lot of things in the around you which you cannot change. So the best thing is ignore. Probably, if there are somebody who is, you have to interact with a lot of things around you, wherein you will have to adjust. I remember when I was giving a training program for the senior officers in Hyderabad, there is a Mari Chennardi Institute for Human Resources, which trains all the government employees. Some superintendent of police was telling that, no, our system is very bad. I said, quit the job if you don't like the system. Sir, if I quit, I will not get any job. Yeah, you want promotion to the higher post, but you know that if you quit a job, you will not get anything else. That means you know you are useless. How can a useless fellow aspire to become promoted? See, I can criticize my office saying that, no, my director, I don't have to obey him. I can scold him. Maximum what he can do, he can throw me out. If he throw me out, I will get a different job. So if you have that courage, you can always have that in your mind when you are interacting. If you always become in a lower level, probably you cannot. So what you should do is, you can also oppose only when you have the ability to oppose it. So equip yourself, get the skill. That skill must be able to change your environment. If you don't have the skill to change your environment, obey. That's best.
I think that's a very practical solution, and I believe the goal should not change, the path may deviate.
That's it.
So, yeah, we should not be stopping in any case. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. So I have a doubt regarding demotivation factor. So as a teenager, I used to face a lot of demotivation. So how to avoid demotivation and focus in just one goal?
Who is that? I am not
Sir,
able
this
to.
is a
Sir, I am Bhooyaosee Borah.
You are not on
You are
video.
from which part of the world?
Assam, Dhemaji.
You are not on video.
Yeah, he's on audio, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Have you taken birth or not?
Sir.
How did you take
Bhooyaosee
birth?
Yes, sir. Bhooyaosee is my daughter.
Yeah, I know.
My daughter.
I know. I wanted her.
I am
See,
sorry, sir. I am sorry, ma'am. Okay.
you can lift your hand.
Because we could not see her.
No, you lift your hand.
Video.
Daughter can lift your hand. Take it back and say well done, well done. Take it back and say well done. After every action, let somebody else tell something. Why do you worry? You keep saying well done, well done. You understood? You don't worry about how others are going to look at you. You look at yourself. You look at the mirror and say how beautiful I am. Let anybody tell that no, I am not beautiful. How does it matter to me? I must feel that I am good. I must feel I am intelligent. I must feel that I am working. I must feel that I am energetic. Anybody tells anything will not affect you if you don't think that you are bad. The time you think you are not good, you will refer, this fellow is telling, that fellow is telling. We are only finding somebody else who will admit along with my view. Don't do that. That is the best thing. Always keep saying, I am good. I am good. Because we have been gifted with hundreds and hundreds of abilities around us. We are so good. But we ignore most of the things and we find only bad things around us. That should go.
Also, if you were there in the beginning of the session, and especially when I started with Sir's journey of life, during his early years, the kind of problems that Sir faced is even unimaginable for us. The kind of environment he had, the kind of restrictions to accessibility of resources was there. So the thing to be looked upon is that this whole world is full of opportunities.
I know I don't have the height of Amitabh Bachchan. I know I don't have the muscles of Shah Rukh Khan, or maybe the body shape of Amir Khan or somebody else. But I know what I have, am I using it 100%? You are a good dancer, that's good enough.
I have a question, sir. I'm Arthi. Good
Now running out
afternoon.
of time. So quickly, I'll take
One
this
last question. Yeah. Today's generation, students are more smarter. So if in case I become a teacher in future, what kind of qualification I mandatorily required other than the degree?
You agree all your students are your teachers and you be a student. That is the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
That quality you have, then you become a good teacher. That's it. I have learned hundreds and best things from my students. They are my teachers. If they have good questions, and if you don't know those answers for that questions, you must be blessed because you have a lot of good children around you. If you think all the children have questions where you can answer, then you are in a wrong place. Because you have nothing to learn in your life. That's it. As simple as that.
With that words of wisdom, I believe all of us have literally got a lot of information in this session. And with this, I would like to take a call here. We have already extended Sir's time, and I'm so thankful to Sir for being, patiently, listening to all our queries and questions. And post this, as I mentioned, all of us who are there in this session can join Sir on his social accounts, as well as his WhatsApp number is displayed here. You can just note that down.
I think I must thank all the people who were there and those who asked a question, or maybe those who interacted, not interacted. But I must thank ARPIT for this wonderful opportunity given to me and the beautiful questions which made me to think slightly different. That's what I love. And Prema, who initiated or maybe connected both of us. We'll keep this contact intact, and then probably we will have more sessions.
Absolutely, sir. And I thank everyone who is there in the session right from the beginning, though with bit hiccups in between, all of us were here continuously joining. We will ensure we do such meaningful sessions in the coming time again.
And I wish
Thank
all
you
the
so
comments
much.
and the questions probably what you posted can be posted on to me on my WhatsApp. I will be able to look at it and then respond in case if I missed or in case if ARPIT missed something. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
So
you.
That's a quick.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much
Enjoyed.
everyone for being here. Thank you so much, sir.
Enjoyed, ARPIT.